And welcome back for episode 3. Episode 3 here already. So
the episode everybody didn't ask for, but they're getting anyway.
We're a full-time podcast, guys, now.
Yeah, that would be a good name. It's not like the one we're using is already taken.
Yeah, exactly. I actually was speaking to one of my mates on the phone today, and I was saying, don't know why everyone's so worried about quarantine. Like, it's literally full bodybuilding boot camp for me at the moment.
Yeah.
Literally, like, get up, cardio, food, nap, train, food.
Yeah.
What more would you want?
Yeah. I'm happy I'm getting full 50 stories from you a day as well. The kind where you can't see the progress bar at the top.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one dotted line. Then now a straight line.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
That's good. It's one of them. I think that, like, it's always a pain, isn't it? Like, you know, I definitely go through waves with Instagram. I'd love to just do more on it every day, but you know what I mean? Like, I think that, in all honesty, you just sometimes think to yourself, like, do people really want to see this? But then there has been some quite good feedback, so I guess some people do.
Yeah.
But I guess, like, some stuff, you know, like with the trainer, and you think, I could do with a videographer around my house because it's a bit boring. But then I guess I am finding new stuff to do every day, which is good. So even just with the barbell. So
we went through a period, didn't we, where we tried to film some of our sessions because you wanted to try and get a YouTube series going, and it was a lot more difficult than what we thought it would be. Right? It was.
Yeah, the static thing I think works really well for Instagram. Just to put a few training clips up because people will just breeze through them. But I'm sure if you've done it yourself, you're like, you know, you'll watch some stuff and then you'll skip through the other stuff. So to actually catch the attention of an audience, you do need to have like the fancy angles and some good jizz faces on expressions.
Yeah, you got it. that real top set sort of thing, that real noise.
Trying so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so
vinegar stroke is called.
The what?
The vinegar stroke. If you've heard about that.
I've not heard about that.
You've not heard about that. Why don't you look it up in the Urban Dictionary?
Is it something I should I look it up in work? Oh no.
No, it's basically it's the moment before you finish. That's what the vinegar stroke is called. So, in case I expect other people would have been straight on the phone just to look at vinegar stroke.
Okay.
See what it comes up with.
All right. So let me just mark down already when I upload this video. Not suitable for under 18. Okay. Thank you very much. Nice. Funny. The quarantine's treating you well then, and you're not losing your mind too much. So.
No, yeah, it's very strange because I think it's like I think I saw it on Bro Science video, but it's like it's wanting this quarantine over with so I can get back to sitting on my couch and watching Netflix on my own terms. It's like pretty much what everyone was doing anyway. But you know, I think that like for me, we have loads of time off in the Christmas break, but it feels so different because although I spend a lot of time at home when I'm off. The fact that you're able to go to the gym and go to the other places that you want to go to the cinema on a Wednesday night, whatever. Yeah. It's surprising how much that then suddenly like I now have to sit in and watch stuff, you know. So. And
the converse is true as well, I think, because we'll go out me and Cara will go out for a walk every day if we can, just get some steps in, and there's a little route round the back of ours, little country route, and it's like walking down a town centre because it's just full of people going out on their one legally allowed walk that people wouldn't be taking if they weren't told they were allowed to take it. I'm sure it's this like you say, it's this kind of thing. It's people want to go out because they're told they have to stay in, whereas if they weren't told they were having to stay in, they'd just be staying in anyway. So it's that kind of.
Did you see the meme I put up? It was like everyone like not on quarantine, sat in their house on an iPad, and then everyone when they're told to quarantine, and it was like everyone out on bikes riding around and
it's ridiculous.
Around.
Dan North actually phoned me before, just about to go on a bike ride. Just
brilliant.
yeah.
I don't know how I can describe it as well. Is it's like starting a diet, isn't it, for bodybuilding? Like you have 3 months before your off season where you take or leave a burger, and then all of a sudden, the moment you start your diet, you're not allowed one. You want one.
You want one.
Exactly what it is. So
Yeah.
Human mentality.
Yeah.
Just odd. But
What you can't have, kind of thing.
Exactly.
So, thanks for your little disclaimer at the start of episode 2, because we filmed episode 2 before shows were cancelled, before gyms were shut. And then within, that was a week, last week, wasn't it, where things just started to happen every day. And we had this episode kind of in the bank ready to put out, and just kept messaging each other saying, oh, we might need to update that. We might need to update that.
Yeah.
End of the just...
I'm not sure if I said it. I'm starting to sound like Dave Palumbo and Chris Aceto here, but you know when you can't remember what we talked about last week, but I'm not sure if I said it or not. But
we'll just cycle every episode, every 3 episodes. We'll just talk about the same things. That's all Chris and Dave do anyway.
I know. I thought they were talking about Thor Ragnarok, and he must have talked about 6 episodes in a row about the same bit, and I was like, you know, when you look down at your phone to see if you're listening to that same week's episode or not. I thought, my phone just jumped to the wrong
just
episode.
Drop in some adverts for your coaching, just like Dave does with the seminar that he has.
Fiberlize.
Fiberlize.
Fiberlize and V-Mineralize is like plug city at the moment.
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah. Fiberlize cures coronavirus. Mineralize cures coronavirus. Yeah. So.
To be fair though, it's actually a very good product.
Yeah, it's just psyllium husk, isn't it? If you look at the ingredients, it's just 6
really good.
grams of psyllium husk.
So
yeah, psyllium husk is great. Thanks for Evan Centopani for his recommendation on that, because I think again another thing I've definitely said in one of the 2.5 episodes that we've done is that bodybuilders don't. What was it he said? Bodybuilders are bothered about what goes in the mouth, but not what comes out the other end. Yeah. And as soon as he said that, I thought he's dead right. So I got on things like psyllium and stuff like that. Cheers, Evan. We'll do a digestion.
So I actually forgot about what was I just talking about before?
How everything changed. How everything changed in a week.
Yeah. I was talking about something that I was gonna. It'll come back to me anyway, so it's not important. But yeah, you know, you just start like you can't remember if you've mentioned stuff or not. So yeah, please forgive us already, I guess, if we start to talk about the same things as last week or whatever.
Oh, not because we would ask for forgiveness if we were just sat around and someone said you've said that before, and this is no different, really. So yeah, so just I guess we'll just touch on very briefly, little recap on the second one, just to say that. We hope that people still got something from episode 2 in regards to our opinions on how we think people should be approaching this funny period that we're in. We know reference things like, oh, you should still train in the gym, and you know, if your shows aren't cancelled yet, you know, why would you think they're going to be? All that got turned on its head, but you know, we can go into the main talking points we wanted to address today. You're still training. I'm still training. All the guys are still training, and they're all training at different levels with different levels of equipment. So you've got a few things.
So do you think it's safe to say at this point, it's fair to say who's really about that life and who's not, who's just doing it because they like everyone else telling them how great they are?
What do you think?
Is it harsh, or do you think? Or do you think some people just aren't motivated to train at home, full stop, because it's at home?
Maybe that. Maybe because definitely some people like to look good in the gym. That's definitely a way. That's definitely a reason why some people train for sure. You know, I've had this quite a lot where you've seen me walk into the gym looking like I'm wearing every item of clothing I own. And I don't really strip many off when I'm training, because I'm there to train and I've got a goal. I've got something I'm trying to achieve that might be in 18 months' time. Might be, you know, whereas definitely some people are going gyms and that's their competition that day, that arm session, you know, that kind of stringer vest, and that's what they're going to look like. Now, that's not to say that everybody that does that is doing it for that reason, but I certainly think that those people, they don't see any benefit in doing, you know, kettlebell goblet squats with 10 kilos in the kitchen. It's just not, is it? You know, so it definitely will separate some people. And piggybacking off your Instagram story is, you know, it'll show who's motivated or not. It'll show who can channel that motivation still and still keep their eye on the prize, sort of thing. You know, and you're doing that. You know, you still your show hasn't been cancelled. Actually, you know, you're still looking at the Grand Prix, and that's, you know, not been affected at the moment. So you've got equipment in the garden, and your workouts have been comprehensive. You know, so nothing really changes for you in that respect.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm really pleased as well, because and I know it's going to be obviously hard for some people. Like, I've got clients like Dalroy, who's actually come off Instagram because he's sick of seeing people training, because he can't train with anything but bands.
Yeah.
So I am very, very fortunate in that retrospect, that like it's almost just been like a normal week of training for me.
Right.
Or normal 2 weeks. Like, I mean, like I've been sore for days and stuff off the chest workout I did, and I didn't go any heavier than a blighter side on the bench stuff. And I did, you know, quite a few drop sets and stuff with the bands, and it was really good, to be fair. And you sort of saw in a different way, but even my legs are sore from the day. I mean, did nothing but like lunges and stuff. But I am very glad as well, the fact that I'd spent a long time, I think even so much this year as well, is like getting away from doing all the machines that we have at Unity and try and do like 3 main basic stuff first anyway. And it's almost like I could have like writ it coming, because it's like I've just been doing barbell stuff for the last year or so anyway, and I'm obviously then now stuck with that's all I can do. So
every workout we've done together over the past sort of like 6 months or so has started with a compound, and we've made sure we've hit it whether it's like legs on a Sunday, or whether we've come in and we've done, you know, anything from whether we've come in and trained chest, or if we've come in and just tried to train arms, we've started with like a close grip bench or something like that. So that has lent nicely into only having things like that, you know, if you do, you know, because have you got
weights at home as well, or have you just got bands?
Yeah, so well, I'm in a unique situation, and I'm still trying to rehab from this injury that I've got. So
doing face pulls.
From doing the thinnest band face pulls.
TheraBands.
Yeah. So I think it's something to do with me rear delt. I think it's come down a little bit because I've done it twice because I'm an idiot. So I did it, and then 2 weeks later it felt fine. So I went in and thought I'd train some back. I did it deadlifting. I pulled 240 and it just kind of went, which was nice. Fortunately, I could drop it. But then I come back a couple of weeks later, it felt okay, and so I tried rowing. 2.5 plates, just getting going with it, and it just went again. And I think.
Do you think there's a lot of tightness there, or what do you think it's stemming from?
I do actually. It's funny. It had been hurting for a couple of weeks before, but didn't hurt in such a way that I couldn't train. It was just really sore pulling high, really sore doing any rowing movement, anything. A lot of back stuff it hurt, so it was kind of up in the rear delt. Since I've definitely pulled something and I've got the bruising, all that pain has gone. So I'm not a physiologist. I have no idea what it could or could not been, but it's the pain has gone. It was very at the time, and so it's a little bit weak now. But without going off on too much of a tangent, it's meant is that I'm actually forced to rehab it now, because I tried to go back a little bit early, and there's a chance I've made it a little bit worse, but it's not too much worse. It's, you know, it's still what it is. A little sore around the rear delt, and it stayed away from my arm, fortunately, because I can't afford to have an injury there. Jesus. But maybe it's kind of at the bottom of where my rear delt attaches, so it's kind of close to the brachialis, but it's not so bad. But anything I need to hold, really. So if I'm holding a bar for bicep curls, it's okay. But as I get a few sets in, because I'm trying to do a few sets because I'm lacking weight and stuff like that at the moment, it gets a little weak. And I think to myself, it's going to go again. So I'm just being steady with it. And as I say, I'm in a unique situation where I'm kind of forced to rehab it because of what situation we find ourselves in. So I can't be tempted to go, feels all right, I'll go and try some deadlifts and then pull it again. So the split that I've got going at home, so I ordered an easy bar. I've got an easy bar with 4 10 plates, which for Operation Grow a Pair of Arms is absolutely perfect when it works. You know, when my arms are okay again. So lots of curls, lots of overhead extensions, close grip press, stuff like that. And so I'm doing an arm day, I'm doing a leg day, and I'm doing a chest and shoulders day. Not push, because old school bodybuilder, it's chest and delts, isn't it? It's not push. Sorry. Fuck, never mind.
Just digging at the people who push pull wankers, yeah.
Just push pull wankers. So I'm doing that, and I'm just doing some rehab for back on every day, really, with some bands, just high rows, medium rows, low rows, and just seeing how it is. But that's okay, and that's going to serve me well, I think, over however long this is, because God knows however long it is. And every couple of weeks, I'm just kind of seeing how the arm is, and if I can get some kind of, for me, I would like to compete next year. But that would be the earliest I'll compete. We've discussed it. That would be the earliest to come back, but only if certain things have been addressed. I feel that I could push to a certain level. We've spoke about it before after last season, that I think actually I can push to be, you know, kind of a little bit better than where I was. But I have to bring up some body parts. One of them's arms, primarily. And so when this is fixed, I've got a barbell. I'm just going to strip it back and it's going to be arms every day with a barbell. And so for me, and with what I need to do in the situation I'm in, it's not going to be too much of an issue. If it stops me going in and training back and doing heavy deadlifts when I should be training arms.
Yeah, it's worth be a nice experiment for you, because you know, how often do we really, like, you know, let's say you're trying to bring up a body part, are you able to dedicate that much time to it? Because people who, like, say, have legs, you still love training legs. So it's like, are you really going to then train legs once a month and just do upper body? Like, you're not, because you know, bodybuilder mentality, you know, well, I don't want to get them smaller, so I still need to train them at least once a week. So it almost is forcing you to do, as you said, like arms 3 days a week or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
So
and I've tried to do that for the last 6 months, and it always comes right around to end up having a split, like a bro split or something again, or something where I'm not dedicating as much time as I probably should be to the body part. And even if I am still dedicating time, I'm coming in and I'm deadlifting heavy, I'm squatting heavy. You know, we did that. We did them. You trained me just the week before everything kind of went to shit, and that set on that Cybex hat squat was probably the hardest set I can remember ever doing. And you said this to me ages ago now when we were training arms. And you were trying to get me to train arms like it was legs.
Yeah, I remember that was at uni, wasn't
it? Yeah. And you're right. And that was a good arm session. We were throwing some weight around. That was Branch Warren, Johnny Jackson. But it's definitely finding that, you know, and that will help bring up that leg and body part.
I think everyone has their body parts as well, you know, where you enjoy training them, and if, like, there's a lot of people with arms, I think, is you either love training them or you don't. There seems to be no happy medium with arms. Like things like, you know, I guess the same as legs. Like everyone likes training chest, everyone likes training shoulders, but arms is one of them ones that, oh, it's boring, you know. So a lot of people fall into that mentality with it, and I think that you know, if that's more the case for you, isn't it? It's not the thing. I think that in fact you've never really dedicated a time to, you know, oh well, I'll just do back instead and throw arms at the end, as opposed to making it a priority, you know. So
because I like to come in and do T-bar rolls instead of barbell curls, you know, and that's you know, and it's served me well because I've got a wide back and big legs, but tiny arms. So it's
balances. Yeah, that's it.
So what do you think? on easy bar, some bands,
Yeah.
a couple of 5 kilogram dumbbells, a kettlebell actually, 12 kilo kettlebell actually, which is really useful. I made a joke about goblet squats before because we did it. So we did a leg session, which was Bulgarian split squats, which are horrible anyway.
Yeah.
So that was rubbish. And we started with them after some warm-ups and stuff, and they were brutal. And then we did goblet squats with the 12s. Now, you know that my max amount of reps over the last 6 months has been like 5.
If you're lucky, yeah.
If I'm lucky.
On a drop set.
On a drop set. But because weights are light, I'm conscious that I have to increase the reps to, get some kind of intensity. So I actually tried to get hit. I was hitting 20s. So you imagine what I look like. That was fun.
Yeah,
so I've got all that. You've got your barbell, and you got a lot of bands, and you introduced some dumbbells, right? So
yeah. One of my mates kindly dropped me around some dumbbells this week. So
we're not too dissimilar in what we've got. But you mentioned Dell just has bands.
Just bands, yeah.
Anyone that knows Delroy will see his Instagram as well, and he trains like a beast. And we know
he's got a rucksack with some bottles of water, full breathing workout.
Nice.
Not even like bags of cement, but bottles of water.
So, Jesus. But he trains hard. He trains hard, and he's a full-time bodybuilder as well. Like Del loves bodybuilding. So what's your advice to someone like that finds themselves in that situation, not injured, was in a real good? I've seen him ripping some deadlifts off the floor, and then suddenly that's gone.
Yeah. Like I actually said it today on one of my stories, that I think it's a really good opportunity to get better at actually focusing on your mind to muscle connection, and also your execution of the exercises. Because he's one of these guys as well where his form can always be better on stuff, especially things like chest. Like he's quite strong. On a flat bench press, he's still able to bench 3 plates for his body weight. But his elbows are always flying away from his body when he's doing it, if that makes sense. He's if you look at kind of how you should bench press, and then I'm always saying you need to drive your elbows in. That should be your priority, is trying to fix that kind of stuff. And actually break down your movements you're doing with bands and things like that. So, actually looking at form and function and concentrating on actually squeezing your chest when you're doing a bench press and things like that.
Right.
But whether people can have the patience for it, but it's almost like doing you're completely stripping back everything. Like you was going to go, I'm going to concentrate on getting a better range of movement with my squats. So I'm going to just use a plate aside, because we all just get caught up with, well, I'll just go to 2 plates and this feels pretty good, so I'll go to 3 plates. And then your form breaks down from that point.
Yeah.
So it forces you to then actually get better at, I'm fucking trying to do these handstand push-ups. The most ridiculous exercise ever. Strength-wise, I can do them. I just can't fucking balance. So my mate just sent me a load of little laugh emojis saying, I'm sure I've seen that movement you did on Tekken. Like a wheel kick, slamming into the fence, the most elegant ever. So yeah, it's been pretty funny. But I think that, as I said, it should be an opportunity for you to focus on how to make stuff hard when it's not heavy.
Yeah.
And I think that will pay dividends afterwards. So it's a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah, people are stripping it back. With some of the arm workouts I was trying to do, I was trying to do a lot of overhead extensions, and Cara was just saying to me, "Why are your elbows over here?" Because I'm so wide. Now, you think I'm joking? Just really wide. But I do find it hard. We were training arms in the Body Academy when we were up for, I think it was a Christmas do.
Yeah.
And you were trying to get me to do these double arm dumbbell curls. We were coming in.
Oh yeah.
Can't do it.
Side. Yeah.
I can't do it with 2 arms, because I sat on my lats, and I've also got a wide chest, and it's the tiny sort of spindly arms. So things like getting the form right for arms, I've got a good opportunity to do that now. So I took the weight right back, and anything over the head I was doing, I was really trying to bring the arm in and stuff like that. And so yeah, like, it's definitely an opportunity to do something like that.
Yeah, to sort of making things hard just by like isolating the body parts as opposed to making it hard because you're just increasing the weight, you know. So so I think it's a good opportunity if you can. I think, as I said, once you've got past the point, I think a lot of people are at this point now, that you're just accepting that it's not going to be the same.
Yeah,
you'll be fine, because then you just have to make it hard a different way. You know, it's not going to feel. You're not going to do a session and feel like you've just pulled a 5-plate deadlift. Like, you're not going to feel like that. So be hard in a different way, and it's just accepting that, I think, and then you can progress from there, really. So.
Yeah, Darren made a post about that. Is you just have just accept it, you know, which is, I mean, this is Darren with his home gym, so just accept.
Yeah, exactly.
Just accept that I've got a home gym and you don't.
He said to me, he rang me up the other day, and I said, I'm not talking to you. So why not? I said, because you're the only person I know who is fully prepared for the apocalypse. He's got potatoes growing in his garden, vegetables, chickens, and a flipping whole shed, gym, cabin type thing at the bottom of his garden, so he doesn't need to leave his house anyway. So I said, yeah, I'm not talking to you.
Conspiracy theorists would say that he had something to do with it, but that just be that. I heard that as well.
That and Disney Plus. Yep. Yeah.
Disney Plus. So you downloaded it for the year, right? You paid for the year subscription. Yeah. Obviously. So have you been watching it or what?
Bits. Mandalorian, even though I've already seen it.
Yeah.
Watching it again. There's not much else on there yet, you know. So they need to up their game. But then if you remember when Netflix first came out, it was shocking. It's like 3 shit films on there.
Well, that's the problem, and that's the problem with it. Yeah. Well, the problem with it as well is right now we've seen everything that's on Disney Plus. So if you like Marvel, you've seen all of the Infinity War saga and stuff like that. Yeah. If you're anything like me, you've seen every piece of Star Wars content 15,000 times over anyway. So, you know, but I think it's nice to have them all in one place.
It's just nice to be able to cycle between the 4 things that I watch, whether it be Now TV, Prime, Netflix, and Disney. So at least you've got something.
Yeah. So if anybody would like to subscribe to any of those streaming services, just use Natty Muscle 20.
Plugs, it's plugs.
Yeah. Who's sponsored by? Who's sponsored by today? Jordan.
Air Jordan today, mate. Actually, this is like the, how do we say? What's the technical term for this, for bodybuilding clothing that isn't bodybuilding clothing? It's like Well, it's like you're in the transition, which is still acceptable to be able to wear as a bodybuilder, but it's not bodybuilding wear.
Bodybuilding casual.
Bodybuilding, it's bodybuilding casual. Yeah, that's it. And what about you? What have you got tonight?
Sponsored by Tony Doherty today.
Oh, nice. Probably still one of the best tops. You know, they're supposed to be worn like AFL tight tops, but we obviously wear 2 or 3 XLs in them because they look cool as fuck like that. So
Team double XL.
So did that come from Australia, that top?
That come from you in Australia?
Thanks, Rob, bring it back for you. Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know about GASP swap Sundays, so what happens is I purchase a load of gear off. Sorry.
Yep.
We're a bodybuilding podcast here, aren't we? So I purchased a load of clothing from places like GASP apparel from Urban Gym Wear and maybe Nike and all them fun places, and none of it fits. So then me and Rob meet up, and he gives me his cast-offs, like this jacket. And I sell him that very Nike jumper that he's wearing right now. Yeah. So swap Sundays. Yeah, if anybody wants to take part, it usually takes part. It usually happens in the Gym Unity car park on a Sunday around 2-3 p.m. So when this is all back to normal, perhaps we could set up like a market.
Have you managed to inbox your mate Sean Clarida yet? to find out if he has his GASP stuff made custom for him, so he's not wearing gas.
Not, I'm not, so just, yeah. Why
don't you tell everyone about that? Why don't you tell everyone about the gas scenario?
One of the most annoying things about GASP Swap Sundays is that GASP do really cool trousers, pants, depending on what part of the country you're from.
For our American listeners, yeah.
For our American, all three of our American listeners, the GASP trousers. They say GASP alongside, but the P is right down to the hem. So unfortunately, because of my short stature, any GASP pants that I wear are just gas. So I either have to roll them up so much or contact Donna Bevan to hem them for me, and I've got a nice pair of gas pants. So what happens is Rob just gets every pair of gas pants I ever get, and you've got some pretty cool pieces of clothing off me, didn't you?
I have. Oh, these are nice. Yep. So yeah, I ended up spending a fortune on like £70 for a pair of GASP trousers with a zip on, and then I need the ones without the zip. Exactly the same pair of trousers with no zip.
Well, Tom pointed out about need, doesn't he? About whether you need a pair of clothing or an item of clothing or not. There's want and there's need. Need that. Need.
I'm really dead jealous of all the Arnold weekend animal gear that they've got, which is the like the blue animal t-shirts and stuff. I really wanted one. I nearly got one. It was buy one get one free or something, and it was still going to cost me like twice the amount in a t-shirt for shipping than it was for the t-shirt. So that was a no.
Definitely when this is all said and done, I'll be working in Boston. So if anybody wants clothing bringing back, comment, and I'll charge an extortionate amount for things that I fine. But no, I haven't emailed, I haven't DM'd my best friend Sean Clarida, basically best mates, because we had a very short Instagram conversation. Said I looked really good. Just add that to the list of basically best mate bodybuilders, such as like Jose Raymond, Nathan Diasha, anybody else that may have spoken, Flex Lewis, of course. But no, I am going to ask him whether he gets custom GASP pants so these aren't gas. I'm pretty sure he's only as tall as me. I don't think he's any taller.
I think he's got to be shorter than you, surely. I think he's 5'2", isn't he?
How tall do you think I am?
Like at least 5'4".
5'1.8".
Are you really? Shit.
Yeah, I know.
You must have had some inserts in those Automix boots for sure.
Well, it's not. God, if you think I look tall in Automix, I'm basically tall. The new best Automix ever, the Ninjas, I've got that memory foam, so that might provide a couple of centimeters of
additional height.
Yeah. Cool. But no, I am probably about as tall as Sean Clarida is. I am perfectly built for deadlifting because my range of motion is about foot. It's just
like midget bench press.
Yeah, well, you commented on my leg press before. It's like it looks like I'm not doing it. It looks like I'm taking the piss out of the range of motion. But my chest is still. My knees are in my chest. It's just.
Looks like it. Yeah. That's generous. That's generous.
I know.
Right. Anyway, off on tangent. So where were we? What are we going to talk about this week?
So let's discuss your Instagram post about motivation then, and that doesn't have to mean. Okay. With what's going on now, because maybe we should probably get away from this over the next however many episodes, because
6 months talking about coronavirus. Yep.
But well, I mean, it took us 6 months to record this podcast. If you recall, last time it was 6 weeks, and then we built the tension.
We had to build it up every week. Yep.
Yeah. But it's going to get really shit if we just talk about coronavirus every week and stuff like that. So when I talk about when you speak about motivation, then, and when I talk about motivation, I'm not sure whether you get it in work because you don't work, or you do because you're a coach, but your other job is gym related, not necessarily bodybuilding related. But what I do outside of bodybuilding it couldn't be further away from bodybuilding at all. So I get it a lot. I get, oh, you must be so dedicated and motivated when you're eating that same thing out of that Tupperware and this and that sort of thing. So when we talk about motivation and things like that, then what is it that, why are you prepping for your show? Why are you still bodybuilding after however long it is that you've been competing for? What is it that makes you get under that 4-plate squat, that heavy bench, that deadlift? What makes you diet for as long as you do?
I'd say I did answer some of it the other day on the post, but if you didn't see the post, so I think the main points were that like overall, to want to be better is not just kind of like a thought of like one area. It has to be like a day in, day out process to with what we do with bodybuilding. It's such a slow, and it's almost like you can't even express that to people of like how slow it is at this point on in your lifting career, if you like, as well. Like I always remember, like when I was younger, to be able to hear back like Dexter Jackson say, in a whole year of of eating 8 to 10 meals a day and training 5-6 days a week, be lucky to put on like 2 pounds of muscle at the end of the year. I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, no way. And then here I am, every year I've competed, I think I've been lighter. And it's like, how is that even possible? But I think that, like when you look back and you see the differences, like, like a whole year off or even just like, a productive off season makes to your physique, I think that you do have that kind of in the back of your head. But I think to answer the question is that, it's a commitment day in, day out to want to be better. And I think that the realization for me was once turning pro in 2013, I remember speaking to a couple of the pros, and it was like, you may never ever win a bodybuilding show again. Like that was the realization. Like at pro level, you can pretty much just guarantee you'll be just another pro. And I just thought at the time, I was like, I'm just not willing to accept that.
Yeah.
Like I think that, and it's like, like it's not a case of blowing my own trumpet, but like, I kind of believe my own hype in some ways as well. As much as I'm not arrogant with it, I think that I am meant to like to win big shows and almost be a little bit like of a, not an underdog, but people kind of maybe not expect you to win. And I think that for me, it was just like, I did the show in 2014, the year after that show. And, I came 7th out of 7th in the Grand Prix because I basically just believed that it was like everyone else is better than you on paper. So that's the way I'm going to diet for that show. And I half-assed it. And I think that then coming back off that and was going like, there's no reason why I can't be one of the best in the world or something. So, and then I think that obviously then I did have that year where it's like they're going to split the weight categories. And I think that from that point onwards, it was like, right, okay, well, there's no reason why if you're pushing the overall winners. There's twice I've been in the overall and came second, one to Nathan and one to Dave K. And each time, like I've more than held my own. And I think there's no reason if someone leaves the door open for me that I couldn't not win that. So I think that that's the motivation for me. I think especially is I think if I wasn't competing, I don't think I would be as motivated, because I think that like if you compare it to, without going rambling on, if you can compare it to something like dieting for a holiday, not an ounce of me has ever been able to diet for a holiday because the one of like just being healthy or looking good on the beach is no way near enough for me as a motivator to want to make me stick to the diet on a hard day, because like I'm still going to look all right. I'm still going to look better than maybe 90% of the people there. So that was kind of the thought. But then obviously then you can't be 90% at a show. Like you have to be 100% to do really, really well. And I think at pro level, it's even more of a case. Like if you're off, you haven't got a hoping chance because, in the amateurs, you can maybe get away with it sometimes. And I think that maybe the level has rose up a lot now. You look at that lightweight show that you competed in last year. Like, it's a different ball game now. When I was first competing as a lightweight in 2009, 2010, the top 2 or 3 were good and the rest were all mediocre. It's not like that anymore. So I think that sort of the bar has come up. So I think that, yes, the competing aspect, but I think the visualization that I can be one of the best in the world at something is a massive motivator for me. So to want to continue to be good.
And that's it, is you want to be the best in the world, we just say it. And people might think, oh, I'm not going to allow myself to feel that I can be because I don't want to come across as arrogant, or I don't want to speak something into existence that I don't think can happen. But then everything you've just laid out is, I feel the same about my path in bodybuilding on a lower level. You know, so I did 2017 when I was about 15 lightweights in that particular class, and so I DNP didn't play. And I believed I wasn't going to place before the show. I was just going to make up numbers. It was the first time I'd ever qualified for a British, and I thought, this is great. And that was it. That was my goal. And that was not my mindset this year. I trained every day to win the British. And I knew that there was at least 4 people in front of me that were either British, world, European, a collection of all 3 of those champions. But it did not deter me from competing in that competition like I was going to win, in the same way that you've just described. And it doesn't matter whether you're a pro. It doesn't matter whether you're just starting out and you're a novice, or if you're a junior, or if you're a teen. Yeah. As cliche as it sounds, you have to, if you tell yourself you can't win and you're not good enough, you won't do it.
No, that's definitely.
You just start. If you start believing that you can and you act like you can.
Yeah. There's a difference, isn't there? There's a difference between managing expectations to a certain point, and then that can almost be what gets in your way to actually make you any better.
Yeah.
So that's what's in most people's way of believing that, okay, well, like, I just want to do a show and see how I go. But then to actually, like, move to, like, you know, where I'm sure me and you've had that conversation before, like, I want to win the British, you know, maybe if you'd said that to someone 2 years ago, maybe some people would laugh and go, oh, I don't really know. But then, like, you've delivered the goods and some with regards to what you've produced last year. And now you're just building on that foundation now. Like, now it's like truly like, actually, yeah, there's no reason why. Like, you know, if you give me, you know, 20% better arms, who's going to beat me? Yeah. You know, and that's the realization. This, you know, this whole thing with, like, flip the switch at the moment. But it's, you need to almost, like, transition into that, and you need to mature as an athlete to get you to almost get out of your own way in order to allow you to progress to that level. Because if you never do that, then that's why you will always only ever be there to make up numbers, and you'll never win anything. So,
we spoke about. I'd like to go into detail at some point. I could take it up a whole episode, so we'll do it another time. I'd like to go into detail about how my season went in terms of the Welsh, and then how I felt after the Central, our discussions, and then how that came full circle at the British. But what's important to realise is that you said to me, there's always another level.
Yeah.
We were in, you were up for the weekend because it was an Olympia weekend. Me and Baz trained Prophecy.
Oh, yeah.
And I was hanging out my ass because it was the closest to proper condition I'd ever been. And you just said that there's always another level. You know, you've got ready for this show. You've got ready for this show. You cannot take your foot off the gas. And it's not a oh, outwork me crew sort of thing, because, you know, that's a load of bull. But there is, if you think you've got to your capacity, there is another level. And I think I found that other level in what I could give last year. But I know now that next time I can give so much more. And that's because there is always another level, you know?
Yeah. And it's that ability to want to unlock it as well. Because as I said, it's that whole, like, you know, getting to where you're kind of happy condition wise and you're kind of comfortable with that. And yeah, you're still suffering every day. But then there's like, for me, I think, especially in the last couple of years, it's always been that like, well, I'm this good now. Imagine how good I could be in like another like 3 or 4 weeks of dieting. And then it's like, and then again and again and again. And each time, you know, I've more than peaked for each time when it mattered at like world level, you know, on the day being absolutely like, I'm 100% today, and knowing that you're 100%, you know, but then each time I think even, you know, it's like raising that bar each time. And I think that's what's happened with all the compares and stuff across, you know, people like the lightweight category. I mean, you know, like everyone, you know, from like first to like ninth was top to toe conditioned. And you don't get that in shows. You don't get that any like, you know, assisted shows I've been to. Like I've been to some NABBA shows and like some people's conditions an absolute joke.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you're like, well, like I could stack up any of those natural guys across there and it would beat you. But, you know, then you obviously then do get a few of the really, really good standouts and stuff who are conditioned and full and veiny and everything else, you know, going for them. So it's not to take that away, but as I said, the bar has been raised, and I think that then people now, you know, you go to a British finals, you have to bring that level of condition to even be looked at. Whereas before it was like, wow, see that guy's got crazy glutes, but you have to have the whole package now to go with it, you know. So,
it's going to be interesting this year because there's just the British.
Yeah.
So we see people who my favorite thing is to see people at qualifying shows who you think if they were 20% better, then what's the chap's name? Sorry if I get your name wrong. I think because you're listening. I think it's Ed. I think he took he took third maybe in heavies. I think he's prepped by Vic as well. And I think I'm not sure. Eric, Ed, same thing.
Eric, yeah.
Shout out to Eric. I'm gonna have to tag him in this now because otherwise this is a pointless story.
I think he's Easy7 on Instagram.
Yeah. So you get a shout out in our popular YouTube podcast.
Podcast ever.
Yeah. But he. There is a point to this story. I seen him at his qualifier, and I just said to him, like, you're great, but like you just need to be 20% better. And then I seen him again after finals, and he was that much better. And he said, you know, it was like, oh, it was a great, you know, I'm really glad that you kind of made that change, and I think we're going to miss that this year because it's straight to finals. And I think, I don't know, as a judge, how you think it'll be, is I wonder, will we see that level of condition that we've seen? So let's take the lightweight class and the quality that was in last year's lightweight class across the board in the show. Will we see a diminished, I want to say diminished quality, but so I thought I was shredded at the Welsh, didn't I? And I must have been peeled. And I was miles away. But I was all right for a qualifier, but I needed shows to know where I needed to be for finals. I know you'd like to do some shows before you kind of peaked. You did it in 2017. Do you think that'll have any effect on this?
Do you know what? I think there's two sides to this, and I've already thought about it. I think that, and I did say it not so long ago, I think anyone who actually can diet through this period and train and deliver a British finals level physique deserves to be on that British finals stage, because dieting for a show when you have all the factors is hard. When you're dieting for a show that might not happen is a complete different ball game. Like even so for me at the moment, it's like I'm dieting because I'm like, you know, I need this structure and I want, you know, I've already had my heart set on doing it anyway, so I'm just going to do it. But to know, you know, to be like, I could diet all the way through and then all of a sudden still not even get to compete. It's an unknown factor because this wouldn't usually happen.
Yeah.
So I think that anyone who actually gets to that point is probably going to be of good quality. And no one just ends up in shape, do they? You go, oh, I can feed some chicken and rice and I'm shredded. Unless you're
maybe some people.
But otherwise than that, as I said, it's going to be, take a lot of hard work to get to that point. So I think that you'll end up with a very small amount of competitors, but maybe a very good amount of quality. What they say, we're lacking quantity, we made up for it in quality.
Yeah.
So there's that one side of it, or they simply just won't go ahead because there is not enough people competing.
It's a possibility. I'd like to think that isn't the case. I'd like to think enough people will take the opportunity to go to the British.
Yeah.
In federations that are offering. It's a
opportunity. And I think as well that by like July, August, September, it might be long enough as well for people just to basically who are not kind of maybe the idea of dieting, maybe sort of like stone over comp weight and then go, I'll jump into the show.
Yeah.
Could do it if it's early enough, but it all really depends on how late things are kind of like, let's say the gym ban is lifted or 100% this show is going ahead. It might not have any, audience, but it's going ahead. Full Arnold Classic Ohio style. Just a set of judges and maybe a live stream.
Wow.
It could happen. They've live streamed one of the British finals before in Scotland. They had a media company come out and do it.
Yeah.
But the argument was, inside info, did that deter people from then going to Scotland and buying a ticket on the door because they could just sit in the house and watch it?
Yeah, I know some people that would do that. You know me, I don't mind
non-bodybuilding fans.
Non-bodybuilding. I don't mind a triple to Perth, quick stop for a Scotch egg at T-Bay or a mince pie.
Yeah.
Depending on the time of year.
And then drive back again same day. So.
Yeah. Done that. Oh, not to Southampton like you crazy.
Yeah, that was mental. That was mental.
Yeah. But yes, no, maybe I think that'd be. I think you would see people from down south. The kind of like we had quite a lot of people come to see our group at finals this year. I know that was a trip for them. So we'd like to think that people would still come, but no, that's an interesting one. But I guess we're in Liverpool this year, so that's all right for BNBF anyway. So that's nice.
Yeah, wicked venue. That'll be. It is good in Liverpool, to be fair. The only thing that's weird about that venue is the pump-up area. You have to it's either really small. It's in a little boxy corridor, I think.
Right.
It's the only thing bad about it. They were talking about one year as having it in a separate room and then getting all the competitors to go down in the lift to the stage, which would be quite cool. But that's the only thing that lets that venue down.
Right. That. Doesn't have a desert.
Yeah, the BNBF pump-up rooms are always really good. They always bring all the weights and all the pull-up bars and stuff like that. So you can actually get a proper, you can get a proper back pump before you go on stage. Not just, mind you, saying that, everyone's going to be flipping pump-up pros by the time we get back to stage next year.
The bands.
I've got my bands. I've brought my whole fucking gym with me. My water bottles and Delroy's rucksack and all that stuff.
Can you buy Delroy's rucksack anywhere? Is that on Amazon?
Yeah, it comes free with water bottles. Yeah.
Right. So do you have to buy the water or?
Yeah, it comes free. It's the whole set. It's called Delroy's rucksack and water bottle set. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
It's under Dave Palumbo's prison. Get big in prison book. So
Delroy's quarantine book.
If you see me at shows this year, in my posing trunks doing handstand push-ups against the wall for a shoulder pump.
You know
why? You know why? I fucking mastered it.
Here's one then. Because I definitely think people do this. Okay. Pumping up. Over pumping up backstage. Like I've seen people working out. Like it's chest and arm day. You know? Yeah. I don't think I think it should be a light pump. I think you don't want to blur condition. You don't want to be gassed when you get out on stage.
It depends on the physique, personally. I know for me, the better chest and shoulder and arm pump I get, the freakier I look. Like I would say to the point that I look 50% better with a pump.
Right.
You know, some people like who maybe don't have a chest and they're like, "Oh, wicked chest pump." And you're like, "Really? Have you? Have you?" So you know, some people they're like, "I've got a good pump," but you wouldn't really notice much difference. Where I think that I could transform 50% better when I've got one. And I think especially if you know you're going to be grilled with quarter turns, because I think if you get a good enough pump so that it holds, that you can just sit in the front, relax, and it looks good. The only way I think that it would cause you problems if you things like pumping up legs. Like you saw the big Ramy story, right?
No.
Oh, sorry for your bodybuilding viewers out there. Apparently, that's what the problem is with him. That like he's that respondent pumping up that he did 10 bodyweight squats after eating like 24 kilos of potatoes, and it just completely blurs his line straight away. After like Chad Nichols apparently sat there and said, "I've just watched it happen in front of my eyes, and it's too late." And I said, "I felt so sick watching Ramy's legs just expand and just pump up like a complete balloon." But
that's why I don't
think it can hurt you. Yeah. Legs can hurt you. I think like even for me, like an ab pump. If I've got an ab pump, I don't even have to like flex my abs. They just look really good, just with a bit of blood in them. So I think that it does depend on the physique, and it does the matter. I think if you're, you know, if it just makes your front relax look better, then great, by all means to you. But
so I guess it's person specific then, isn't it? Because like I'll just look at my chest backstage and it'll just go like, that's great. And I don't do I won't do anything for back because I have the ability to float my lats anyway. So I'll do that and I'll just aim for that kind of top line. So I'll do shoulder stuff, I'll do arm stuff because I'll just do anything I can to grow a pair of arms, even if it's backstage 2 minutes before going on.
Yeah, I think it depends as well. Like I said, like on condition and on how full you are, and you know, are you flattening out once you then gone into pose because you've over pumped? Especially if you ever heard about people doing it. Do you know Owen Powell, the guy we see at Ultraflex a couple of times? Well, phenomenal bodybuilder, and he was saying that screwed him over twice at the UK BFF show because they've been that long going on that every time he like stood on his legs and basically like just stood there pumping up for like an hour and a half because kept saying you'll be on in a minute, you'll be on in a minute, and an hour and a half has gone past. Right. He's completely washed out his look.
Yeah.
That's an actual thing. So I think that if you do get behind backstage and you pump up too prematurely, it's all about peaking, isn't it? And it all comes down to that. You know,
well, I think
on the day.
I think that's what I'm getting at as well, because it's so hard to judge when you'll be going on. I was fortunate enough this year to help out backstage at BNBF shows, so just you kind of see how timings are going and stuff like that. And there was a few guys getting kind of pissed off with me because I was telling them to come down and get glaze, and then it was a little bit, a little gap then before going on, and it's impossible to calculate how long it's going to be because shows run differently. It's how many competitors are in the lineup. You might have one crazy tough class where they're just going through quarter turns and then mandatories and then again and again. Yep. So
but I think, go on.
No, I would say is that's why I would prefer to err on the side of caution. Don't get in the pump up room and just start doing everything immediately.
Yeah.
Be relaxed. Maybe, I mean, I've sat down before because I'm not worried about time coming off at that point or anything, because I don't want to be stood up on my legs doing loads of side raises for half an hour, maybe. Yeah. So just maybe get the lay of the land, see what's going on, get an idea, have a look around and think, okay, who who's yet to go on. Have a program and say, okay, there's still 2 classes, so I'll get me glaze, but I'll stay chilled. I'll sit down and then I'll pump, and I think that's important.
Yeah, I also think though as well that you have to be not so much seasoned enough, but you have to know what you're doing enough in the fact that you need to be able to get a pump that will actually hold.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people will experience this doing their home workouts at the moment. It ties in really, really well. But you can do a set of push-ups, before you go on a night out, or a night out pump. You know, heard about this?
I know what a night out is.
What you do is people who don't bodybuild, they go out to like public houses on a Friday and Saturday night and put on their tight t-shirts and go have a pint. So with a chest pump. So
carry on.
Yeah. So it's like doing, and actually like your pump will disperse quickly after doing something. Let's say you do 25, 30 push-ups, right? And you stand up and you're like, oh, I've got a good pump. But literally within like 20 seconds, that pump is almost deteriorated. Right. That's why obviously if you've had, let's say 45 minutes of doing chest and you come out of the gym and you go, I've got a fucking wicked pump. Well, you almost need to be able to pump up enough so that it holds.
Okay.
And that's about of like getting to your own understanding and your own of like knowing your body of kind of how much volume it takes to get you a pump in a body group that will hold. If you are stood around for 5 minutes before you went on stage, it would still kind of hold it there.
Yeah.
And, it's always that kind of thing of like, oh, well, I need these heavy weights to get me pumped. But actually, it's just a case of like doing enough so that it sits nice and you walk out and still feel you've got a good pump.
I think it's an important talking point, because try and find something online about exactly how you should pump up backstage. And
I can tell you.
All right, well, just send a DM to Rob Waterhouse 88.
I actually do have a pretty good show day pump protocol, right? So you can get that at robwaterhouse.com.
Yeah.
So if you want your
very competitive
show day protocol, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's tried and tested. So if you do want to know the routine, yeah.
Was the show day pump up protocol the reason why you pumped up for Worlds in 2017, looked at your chest, and knew you were going to win?
I actually laughed to myself because I knew I was going to win, because I went, I'm not beating this.
And if that doesn't sell a pump up protocol, I don't know what.
Exactly. When you just like, you look down, you've got fibers running across your chest, and your chest is out here somewhere. I was like,
all the time,
I'm not getting beat. I'm not getting beat today. Not getting beat. So yeah, good memories from that for sure. So how are we doing for time?
Well,
getting on pretty well.
Just over an hour. So I think that's good enough for episode 3, right?
Yeah. Wow. Did we actually talk about anything we wanted to talk about? A little bit?
Probably not. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We've got a little spare one for next time, so that's fine.
Cool. That's good. So yeah. Okay then. Well, I guess we'll fire that up. And so have we thought about, just as far as scheduling for people, just to kind of give people a bit more of an idea, how often are we going to be doing these, and kind of what should people expect?
So I think we're in a good groove now. So I think weekly's fine. What do you feel about that? I think so. Assuming that regular working patterns are ongoing, I think Sundays are normally good for us recording, and then try and get them out by the end of the week. I think Thursday, Friday is a nice time.
So almost be like the MD magazines, where it's like a month behind on schedule. So we're like out every week, but you have to so if anything changes over this next week, just have to, we're still going to put the episode up because we recorded it, but you might have to just put disclaimers out before that everything's changed.
Well, I think the only thing significant that could possibly change is suddenly all gyms are open again, and then this entire episode is complete balls. But
but people are still going to know about the pump up protocol, so don't worry.
And GASP swap Sundays, so that's important. So yeah, we can do that. But we're just going to continue doing exactly what we've been doing. We're going to talk some bodybuilding. I think people like the insights from. I think we offer good insights between us because you're at a much higher level than a lot of people, and so people are interested in that. But I'm at a level that a lot of people are at, and so it's interesting to see, oh, what's this guy doing, you know? And of course,
what did I just tell you about putting limits on your expectations and on your thing? It's going to be Pro Aeronn Bevan, right?
Yeah, no expectation. Oh, expectations are there. It's just what's right now. So don't you worry.
All right, sorry.
I've had this conversation with people, and they've looked at me like I've got 7 heads, but it will change. It will change. So yeah, we can do that. But what about if people would like to? We'll put a post on the Instagram, and we'll probably put it on our individual ones as well. If anyone would like us to any particular talking points, any questions, anything you really want to know,
questions, or even maybe a full episode. If we like you that much, we'll do a whole episode on your question.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's the way it's going, isn't it? I think that we go in with the idea that we're going to talk about 4 things, and we get through half of the things we want to talk about, and then we've just found a really good topic to talk about. It's like backstage bump up. So
exactly.
Why not? We'll just go with that.
So we'll do that. So anyone wants to do that, and I think further down the line as well, it'd be cool to have some guests on, but maybe guests that are just other competitors that are just doing what we're doing. Maybe people that just want to get into competing and stuff like that as well, and just kind of get their ideas and insights and stuff like that, and just people just really like bodybuilding, because that's what this is where this has come from, really. So
do you always remember with things like Geared Up podcast and things like that, like they're saying, like, we don't just want a guest on every week talking about how many sets and reps and stuff, but do you know what? I actually just enjoy listening to what some people do. Like, I'd love to have someone like, a Shane Raymond on, and like, what's he doing for his training? Like, looks freaky, looks class, and it's like, I want to know what you're doing. So sometimes people do just.
Can you not just ask? You can just probably just DM him, right?
No, I just like him to come and have, because then it would be if I get him on for a podcast, then I pretend that everyone else wants to know, not just me, but secretly I just want to know. So.
And on that bombshell, we'll call it a night.
Wicked. Good stuff. All right. Well, we'll catch up with you next week then, I guess. Yeah. Spot on.
Awesome.
Over and out. Right. See you later. Bye.